Greetings and welcome to another Wisdom Wednesday. Yay! I'm Pastor Janice Fareed Hardy of Fresh Fire International Ministries. Now, first of all, I just want you to know that we, along with so many others around the world, we are praying to God for God's mercy and grace regarding this new coronavirus, which is affecting people on every continent except for Antarctica. We are praying that people will not fall into fear, but instead stay up to date and listen and do what the various government and health experts are saying. And we urge everyone that we speak with to pray, and as believers to remember that throughout biblical times, whenever unwanted things, I would say, occurred, that God's people would pray, expecting and knowing that God is going to step in. So dump any fear and pray, prepare, and present yourself to your family, your friends, and others as someone who knows beyond the shadow of a doubt that God is still in charge. Our theme this month is going to be lessons I have learned on my Christian walk. And we ask you to answer that question for yourself as we go through the month. What things have you learned being a Christian? What has God brought you to and through? All right? Now, this coronavirus, it has a lot of unknowns, and most of us did not see this coming. We really didn't see it coming. Yet one thing I have learned along the way is that God is still in the midst. I have learned that God is faithful even when we face challenges to our faith. So it is not on our faith that we lean, but it's on God's faith that we really press into, especially during times that we really wish did not exist. Okay? Now you may remember the story of Jesus and the disciples on the boat during the storm. After a long day of ministering, Jesus went to the stern or the back of the boat and he went to sleep. But without warning, a great and furious storm arose out of nowhere. Nobody saw it coming. And remember, many of those disciples were skilled and experienced fishermen. They knew the sea. But this storm had even them stumped. And I'm reading out of Mark 4:37 through 41, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit here and there. All right? Okay, here we go. And a great storm of wind arose, and the waves beat into the boat so that the boat was already filling with water, threatening to take down the boat. But he, Jesus, was in the stern, asleep on the cushion. And they woke him and they said to him, "Teacher, do you not care if we perish?" And he awoke. And he rebuked the wind and said to the sea, "Peace, be still." And I believe Jesus was not just talking to the storm, but also to the disciples. In other words, Jesus was saying, calm down, get a grip on yourself before you hurt yourself. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. And he said to them, "Why are you afraid? Have you no faith?" And they were filled with awe and said to one another, "Who is this, that even the wind and the sea obey him?" I can relate very much to those disciples. Before I became a Christian, I would lean on my skill and what I could learn and the experts and so many other external things only. All right? But as a Christian, I have learned that when I face a storm in life, and by the way, I get too many storms in life, they come too fast, too unexpectedly for me. But my best defense is to lean further into Jesus, not into fear. Be not afraid. I have learned that I must lean into the truth that God has got me no matter what, no matter how big the waves and how dangerous the winds are, that God has got me and he's got who I care about and he's got what I care about. God is still God. I really believe, let me tell you this, that when those disciples stepped into the peace of God and they could see the situation the way Jesus saw it, those disciples still had to do some earthly things. But this time, they did those things not in their own strength and fear, but in the peace of God. The peace of God cleared not only their souls, but also their minds. I really believe they still had to use buckets to get rid of the water that had come into the boat. I believe they still had to dry everything off. I believe their clothes were still soaking wet. Okay, I believe they still may have lost some equipment in that storm or some items. They may have suffered some loss. And I believe it is possible that some of them may have had some bruises from that unbelievable and really violent storm. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But I'm saying this because even as we go through storms in life, we need to call on Jesus like those disciples did, and at the same time use common sense and take care of what we must do in the natural. There's a saying, it's an old saying, don't be so heavenly bound that you are no earthly good. And I would add, don't be so earthly bound that you become no heavenly good. I have learned that we need both, okay? So as we go through the coronavirus, and we're going through it, I must say, and as we go through any challenges in our personal lives, such as health, family, business, and even church challenges, maybe even national or country challenges, remember to do what those disciples did. Call on the Lord, knowing that He will work it out in His own way, in His own time, and that God alone will get all the glory. We at Fresh Fire, as many others around the world, are calling on the Lord and looking out for ourselves and for our neighbors, known and unknown neighbors, as we go through, and I repeat, we are going through this latest storm on our Lord's earth. The earth belongs to the Lord. All right? So we are praying, we are preparing, and we are presenting ourselves as Jesus's fearless and faith-filled representatives to a fearful world. Remember what God has taught you on your Christian work and walk, is what God has taught you on your Christian walk, and activate it now. We hope to see you next Wednesday. Have a blessed week. God bless and keep you.